Evaluating algebraic expressions with algebra tiles. This is a digital lesson, and these pieces are movable for the students. So it starts out explaining to the students the value of each of the tiles. So the smaller tiles here equal to 1 and -1, the red being negative. These long pieces are the same length as our squares here, and they're going to be x and -x. And then the larger pieces are x squared and -x squared. So the red version of each of these are all going to be negative. And then it shows why this longer box here is equal to x. So if we multiplied length times width on this square, we get x times x, which would give us x squared. Now the next slide shows students how to show an algebraic expression using the tiles. So here we have x plus 3, so that gives us a positive x, and then 3 positive 1s. 2x plus -5, we've got 2 positive x's, and then 5 negatives. And then x squared plus 4, we get this large piece, positive x squared, and then positive 4. So students are going to be doing that on the next slide. These pieces are movable, so they're going to move them into place to show these expressions. So they just click and hold on the edge, and then they can move them into place. So x plus -2, well, the green is x, positive x, and then we've got 2 negatives, so they're going to click and hold and just move these so they can show the expression. 3x plus 1, we've got 3 positive x's, and then just one more, positive 1. X squared plus -4 is what's left, so we have an x squared, and then we have 4 negatives. So this slide has all the pieces they need. Other slides are going to give them extras so that they don't know exactly what they're going to have to use. They've got to figure it out. So the next slide, students are going to be doing this again. -3 plus -x. Okay, so they're going to have 3 negatives of the smaller square for -3, and then 1 -x. And they're going to do that with the other 2 problems also. Now, slide 7, this shows how to evaluate an algebraic expression. So to evaluate means we're going to replace the x or the variable with a number. And so the x are these green tiles. So here we have x plus 3. We're going to replace that x, the variable, with 2 if x equals 2. And that'll give us 2 plus 3 equals 5. Now we've got another example here, 3x plus -2. The x's are the green pieces, so we're going to replace them with 5. So we've got 15 plus -2, and that would give us an answer of 13. Now students are going to evaluate these expressions, and they're going to type their answer in the box. So here we've got 4x plus -6, and we're going to replace the x's with the value of 3. So that would give us 12, -6, and our answer would be 6. 2x plus 4, again, we're going to replace our x's with 3, so that would give us 6 plus 4 more would be 10. I'm going to just type that in. Same thing on the last problem. They're going to do the same thing on the next slide, except this time x is going to equal 4. So that would mean these larger pieces are going to be 4 squared. Another one they're going to evaluate when x equals 5. And then this one, they're going to move the tiles to show the expression. And then they're going to solve based on what they're telling us x equals. So they're going to move these tiles into place, and then they're going to evaluate if x equals 2. This one, evaluate if x equals 5. Same thing on the next slide, move the tiles into place, and then evaluate for the values that are given. On the very last slide, and this will be blank for the students, they'll have to type this in. So what they're asked to do is to type the expression that matches these pieces, which is going to be negative 4x. And then we've got a positive x squared, so I'll type that first. And that tells at the bottom how to give that power of 2. So students are just going to come up here. There are different ways to do this, but they can come up here to insert special characters, and then they type superscript, and that's written at the bottom of the slide. And then they can just choose the exponent of 2. So here they have an x squared, negative 4x, plus 8. And then they're asked to just do something creative. They're going to use all these pieces, and they just create some design or some uh, feature. They can make a face or whatever they want to do to show their creativity using these tiles. All right, so that is a digital lesson of evaluating algebraic expressions with algebra tiles.